Hello and welcome. You're watching Business Today. I'm Neetu Chandra Sharma. In this earnings special, we will be looking at Q2 FY26 results of Syngene International Limited. To talk about more about the company's performance, I have with me on the show Peter Bains, Managing Director and CEO, Syngene International Limited. Welcome to the show, Peter. Thank you so much for taking time out for us. So I would like to begin by asking you that, Peter, Syngene's revenue has grown this quarter, but the margins are under some pressure. So what is driving that, and how soon do you see profitability improving?
Thank you, Neetu. So let me start at the top. As you said, revenues are growing. We saw 2% growth on the quarter compared with the year on year. We saw 4% growth sequentially, and for the first half, we saw 6% growth. That's very, very much in line with our expectations. So we're pleased with that performance. As you've identified, the margins, we've seen a decline in EBITDA. That's in large part due to the inventory correction that we're working through with one of our large commercial biologics collaborators, and that's impacting the margin. And the additional factor that's impacting is that we are continuing to invest in our capability expansions operationally and in our people to underpin the future growth. But overall, for the quarter, we have come in line with our expectations, and that has underpinned our guidance maintenance. So we're holding to the guidance for the full year.
What have been the driving growth drivers in this quarter? And what is your outlook for the company for the next quarter?
So the growth driver for this quarter has been the sustained momentum in our research services, which has been pretty robust. And in that, I'd like to call out one particular highlight for the quarter, which was that we've been awarded our first global clinical trial at phase 3. This is a very exciting milestone for Syngene, and this is a trial that will collaborate with a US biotech and recruit patients both in India and in the United States. And I think that signals our strength in clinical trials, and is an area that we'll be looking for growth going forward. So the key underpinning of the growth that we've delivered is in the research services. And we see in Syngene generally, we see the second half has been stronger than the first half, and sustained by the continued momentum we're seeing in research services, and that trend. We look at the second half as being stronger. And again, as I've said, that underpins our full year guidance maintenance.
So if I want to talk about this clinical global phase 3 clinical trials, which is being expanded to new regions. So how important is this milestone for Syngene? And how do you think this will boost your business going forward?
I mean, this is very exciting and very important. It's the first global clinical trial that's been awarded to Syngene. It's a phase 3 clinical trial. This trial will recruit patients in India and in the United States, but in alignment with the opportunity that we see to build on this and our clinical trial capability going forward, we've also expanded our reach by collaborating with established clinical trial providers in Europe, the United Kingdom, and Australia, for example, to strengthen our global network. So an exciting first milestone, and an important first milestone to underpin our ambitions and the growth opportunity for Syngene in global clinical trials.
Okay, the company is also setting up a new bioconjugation suite for ADCs. So how big is this opportunity for your company? And how do you think that this is setting Syngene apart globally?
Yes, this is another both exciting and very important area for Syngene. So this builds on our pre-existing capabilities in monoclonal antibodies and in payloads, the chemistry-based payloads that will be conjugated together with an antibody to provide more targeted treatment for patients. So this builds on our pre-existing strengths, pulls it together in one operational site so that we can provide an expanded integrated service offering to our customers, looking both both at the biologics, the monoclonal antibodies, and the payloads, and now the linkers and conjugation, to provide an integrated capability that we believe can be an enhanced offering in capabilities and in timelines. So a very important area for Syngene to build on existing strengths and to play into what is a very big and very fast growing new modality area in antibody drug conjugation.
Talking about the US market, the Bayview facility in the US is also moving towards operation. So, what role will it play in Syngene's international expansion? And how confident are you meeting your FY26 guidance?
So another very important component of Syngene's growth strategy going forward, we are on track with the preparations and the validations for the Bayview facility to become operational in the second half of this year. So that remains very much on track. We're very excited about the potential here. This is an extremely versatile facility in terms of its capacities and capabilities, in scale at 16,000 kiloliters of single-use reactor capacity with the complementary capabilities of upstream and downstream there. So we think it presents an attractive service proposition to the very significant US biologics market opportunity. So clearly, we've invested in this recently. We consummated the deal only in March this year. We're on track to bring it online and to start commercialization in the second half of the year. And it's an important part of our manufacturing and our biologics manufacturing growth story going forward.
Okay, talking further about the US market, considering the tariff situation in the US and overall pharmaceutical industry, what is your viewpoint on the Indian pharmaceutical industry, and how will it be impacted? How resilient is it? It continues to be, in your view.
So from a Syngene perspective, the US tariffs, and of course they have moved substantially, they continue to change. But from a Syngene perspective, the tariff issue is not has essentially no impact to Syngene's business, which is service based. So we're not exposed to any tariff concerns. I mean, on the wider Indian context, I think that's for other companies, to comment in detail. But of course, we've seen recent developments that also suggest that that's going to have a very limited impact on the wider Indian, both generic and biotech industries.
Yeah, that is interesting. Is your company looking for any mergers and acquisitions, or are you looking at near geographies to expand?
So, I mean, we have very clear, plans on organic growth. Our focus is on building on existing strengths and capabilities, and the bioconjugation investment is a good example of that. We're also going to expand our peptides capability, where we inaugurated and operationalized a small-scale peptide discovery laboratory earlier this year. We're now going to build on that and install a higher scale peptide capability. We're going to expand our clinical trial capability, as I've touched on. So the main focus of Syngene's growth strategy is going to be building on existing capabilities. Of course, we are looking at the opportunity for capabilities that we may want that we will acquire or look to collaborate with externally. And as we've shown with the acquisition of the Bayview facility, we are looking at global expansion in that regard. But that will be selective, and it will be building on the organic growth strategy that we have.
Okay, so before we wrap up, I would like to ask you, what is your outlook for the global biotech environment in 2026, and where do you see the biggest opportunities for Syngene in that landscape?
So I think that what we're seeing is that there's an improvement in the venture capital funding going into the early stage biotech ecosystem. That's a very positive indicator for Syngene. We've seen that the underlying research services growth in Syngene, has been sustained, and that momentum, is good. And an improvement that we're seeing in the biotech venture capital funding will be an additional tailwind to build on that. And Syngene has extensive capabilities in that early research space. So clearly, we welcome what we're seeing in the improvement, and we hope that that continues. That will clearly be, a positive tailwind to build on our existing momentum.
Thank you so much for those valuable insights, Peter.
Thank you very much, Neetu. Good to talk to you.
That was Peter Bains talking about outlook of the Syngene International Limited. While we follow what's next with the company, you stay tuned to Business Today for more updates.
If you like the video, do like, comment, share and subscribe.